How does Meghan brand herself, and what does this branding say about her and our society? How does the branding potentially affect people's perception of Meghan? Let's find out. Welcome aboard. Hang on, because things are about to get empowering.
And you're watching our Fit and Famous video series. And today we are joined by the beautiful Meghan Markle. Thank you so much for joining us today.
This video series is too good to be true. I can't wait to hear what they'll talk about.
Now you guys may recognize Meghan from USA's Suits. You play Rachel. Tell us a little bit about your role.
Rachel is the paralegal at the firm, but she's sassy and intelligent, incredibly confident, has this encyclopedic knowledge of the law, and is incredibly valued at the firm. She's also the love interest for Mike Ross, and we ended season 2 with a bit of a saucy finale, definitely for Rachel.
Did you catch that? Meghan just made a contrast between being a paralegal and being sassy, intelligent, incredibly confident, and incredibly valued. Everything's incredible. Sometimes a single word reveals a person's mindset. Here it's the conjunction but, which minimizes and negates that which preceded it. This contrast speaks to Meghan's own self-perception and ambition, that being a paralegal isn't enough for her.
Oh, are you a lawyer then?
No, I'm a paralegal. No, she's trying to be a lawyer, and I hope that she can be that at some point, but for now, no, the lowly paralegal.
This way, Meghan projects her own personality onto her character, Rachel, how Meghan wants other people to perceive her. Intelligent, incredibly confident, and incredibly valued. Meghan's impression management doesn't belong to the past. She has a history of guiding audiences what to think about her.
It was at that moment that I realized the magnitude of my actions. At the age of 11, I had created my small level of impact.
Prepare yourself for some of the most self-aggrandizing statements I've ever heard.
And what has been echoed so much really in the past day by men and women alike is, oh, we weren't surprised when we found out when you were Nigerian. No. And I say that mostly as a compliment to all of you, because what they define as a Nigerian woman is brave, resilient, courageous, powerful, beautiful.
So, was Meghan actually complimenting the people in the room? No, because of the preface.
Oh, we weren't surprised when we found out when you were Nigerian. No.
Meghan attributes these positive characteristics to herself first and foremost. It's quite convenient that they said that and that they all said the same, unless it's actually Meghan saying it, which seems a lot more plausible.
And I say that mostly as a compliment to all of you because...
Interestingly, Meghan's way of phrasing this is deceptive. She says, I say that, showing a high level of self-awareness of what she says and why she says it, including the preface that gave her the opportunity to praise herself.
Oh, we weren't surprised when we found out when you were Nigerian.
She uses the adverb mostly, which is restrictive language that presupposes that there are other reasons why she says this, namely self-praise. Even without the deception part, what Meghan says makes no sense. How can you say to an entire room full of people that they're brave, resilient, and powerful? You can't, because there are individual differences, obviously. This is the same type of deceptive groupthink-based rhetoric that politicians use, because groups are easier to control than individuals. Therefore, it's about getting people to see themselves as members of a group based on their innate characteristics.
I do see me and you see me and you, but as I look around this room, I see myself in all of you as well.
What I find the most disturbing, frankly, especially as a supporter of women, is how much of the hate is women completely spewing that to other women. And I cannot make sense of that. The systemic change has to happen at the same time as the cultural change is happening, because if you're reading something terrible about a woman, why are you sharing it with your friends? Why are you choosing to put that out in the world?
A speaker uses groupthink-based rhetoric to try to get people from the same group to stop criticizing him or her, as if you aren't allowed to criticize people from the same group, which obviously is nonsensical and is meant to be nonsensical, because a speaker only uses this type of rhetoric for self-serving reasons. An interview like this is a paratext because it's focused on the show Suits. Trailers, posters, websites, title sequences, and interviews are known as paratext. In Greek, para can mean around. Paratexts are circling around the main text. The main text is the actual movie, series, documentary, song, or book, etc. In this case, the show Suits. Thus, paratext can be understood as advertising. So when Meghan talks about a
saucy finale,
it's meant to make viewers want to see it. And when she attributes the positive characteristics to her character, Rachel, it's a way of guiding viewers to think about her character in the same way. However, because of the contrast, this sequence ends up saying more about Meghan's more or less low view of her character.
Rachel is the paralegal at the firm, but and the clicker wouldn't open the front doors. Crawl into the back of my car. Suits is not what I never thought my life would be that awesome. I never thought that I'd have a show that went for this long. That's crazy. I was the girl that auditioned and crawled in through the back seat of my car.
The car being old and small is a modest or self-deprecating statement whose actual purpose is to draw attention to her alleged huge success with the show. This is known as humble brag. Once again, Meghan's busy with the impression management, drawing the conclusions for the audience, that it's crazy for a show to have this many episodes, even though it isn't, and that her life is awesome, which is a somewhat strange thing for someone to say if they have an awesome life.
Suits is not what I ever thought Suits is not.
Before the self-correction, she was about to say something less positive about Suits, so the awesome part sounds overcompensating.
It's like every day I'm like, there's a fruit basket in my trailer. And so we're starting season 3 now, which will begin airing July 16th. It's pretty exciting.
Very exciting. Now, as an actress, of course, you have very long hours sometimes. What do you do when you're on set and you need like an energy boost? What's your go-to trick? Very exciting. Now,
Nothing sounds more specific and believable than that. I can't wait to hear what the go-to trick is.
Definitely a green juice. I mean, I think trying to go for coffee or things like that only end up hurting you at the end. So to get like a really good natural source of energy.
And who introduced you to that?
I'm a California girl, so I think all of those hippy-dippy things have been in my DNA, so probably since the womb. But no, I think it's just important to keep a healthy lifestyle, especially when you're maintaining hours like that, to just make the right food choices.
The right food choices. I guess the hours aren't that long anymore. A paratext is a way of branding the main text, but it's also a way of branding the actors and actresses personally. Here, Meghan takes the opportunity to emphasize a word like natural and giving general advice against things that'll end up hurting you. This way, she can come across as reasonable and caring. The statement about the
hippy-dippy things have been in my DNA.
A modest, self-deprecating statement underlines these qualities even more.
Especially when you're maintaining hours like that.
With these words, including the vowel stress and facial expression, Meghan adds hard-working to the other positive qualities she's highlighted.
To just make the right food choices.
Absolutely, especially for the energy levels. And of course you need to stay in shape because you are a big actress in Hollywood. Oh. What do you do to stay in such fantastic shape?
This video series is called Fit and Famous, referring to celebrities who stay physically fit. So it makes sense that the interviewer wants to talk about exercise and diet. Meghan, however, quickly makes a contrast.
What do you do to stay in such fantastic shape?
Thank you for saying that. I love running, but I think you have to find a workout routine that really speaks to you beyond trying to get goals for your body. So for me, running is like I need as much for my head and to clear my head as I do for keeping in shape. So I love to jog. I do a lot of hot yoga.
Thank you for saying that, she says, while shaking her head no.
Thank you for saying that.
Meghan's head shaking, quick contrast, and pause all indicate that she doesn't want to dwell on the physical aspect of being in shape. Same as when she quickly started talking about inner beauty in another interview, another paratext about the same show.
Yeah, I mean, the TIG it has a lot of elements to it. You know, the beauty section, which is important to me because I've tried to redefine it and write a lot more think pieces and things that really speak to inner beauty.
This way, Meghan comes across as a deeper and more sympathetic person than if she'd said she just wants to look fit or only looks at physical beauty. However, just because running isn't only about goals for your body, presumably, it doesn't negate the fact that it's also, and most likely primarily, about that, especially for actors and actresses, because there are lots of other ways to clear one's head, such as going for a drive and watching a movie.
Do you work out with a trainer, or are you the type of person that, you read magazines, or you just kind of train yourself?
Yeah, no, I do it all on my own, and definitely, I do DVDs at home, or I go for a run by myself. I think if you can self-motivate, that's half the battle.
Battle? What battle? I thought exercise, including running, was just as much about clearing one's head. These excerpts are telling about our zeitgeist, which, in large part, is a result of the advertising people have been indoctrinated with. Advertising where you can't talk about outer beauty without immediately having to mention inner beauty, and where you can't say that anyone's beautiful without having to say that everyone's beautiful.
Do you have any particular DVDs that you love?
Yeah, I've been doing the Tracy Anderson DVDs, for 5-6 years almost now, and I just find the results are great, and you can do little 15-minute increments. I'll do it in my trailer.
And she's so popular with, stars and regular people, so Tracy Anderson, the way to go.
Yeah.
Stars and regular people. I like what celebrity culture's done to some people's way of thinking. What specifically makes this person the way to go? I mean, it's not like the interviewer will agree with literally anything Meghan says, is it? This interview's just so deep. Next, more dodges to avoid talking about looking fit.
Now, in addition to, of course, working out in order to stay in great shape, diet is also a component of it. What are some of your nutritional habits?
I definitely try to eat as clean as possible, and I started working with Dr. Alejandro Younger in the Clean Cleanse. I don't know if you've heard of that program. So I definitely just try to avoid the things that I know are going to make me feel lethargic or sluggish. I eat mostly just fish and veggies, but I am also a foodie, so on the weekends, all bets are off.
Talking about feeling lethargic and sluggish is a euphemism, mild and indirect words for saying that she avoids eating food that makes her look overweight. Also, lethargic and sluggish aren't just something you feel, but also something you are as a result of lack of exercise. So Meghan takes her weight seriously enough to start working with a doctor. But I'm sure that has just as much to do with clearing her head as running has.
So for me, running is I need it as much for my head and to clear my head as I do for keeping in shape.
Do you cook yourself, or are you the type that kind of eats out most of the time?
No, I love to cook. So every day I'm cooking something, even if it's just making a pesto that I can put in the fridge for later in the week, or any little component that you feel like you can take some pride in, I think is really important versus just going out to eat, for me.
Yes, I'm sure Meghan means it when she adds the politically correct "for me." That must be why she felt it was necessary to emphatically deny that she eats out most of the time.
No.
Meghan could have just said that she likes to cook, so the fact that she responds to the second alternative at all, as revealed by her denial, shows that the decision to eat out most of the time is something she dislikes. She contrasts feeling pride to eating out. The adverb "just" coupled with her facial expressions underline this dislike, as if the decision to eat out is too easy.
Feel like you can take some pride in, I think is really important versus just going out to eat.
With this, Meghan takes the opportunity to brand herself as someone who doesn't cut corners, another positive quality to the long list of positive qualities. Meghan often attributes positive qualities to herself by contrasting herself to other people, which speaks to her self-perception and the image she wants other people to have of her, like this.
4 days later, I got an email from one of the highest executives for UN Women saying they wanted to work with me. and just really wanted to learn so much about the organization, because I think anything I get involved with, I don't want to just show up on a red carpet for a cause and wave my hand without knowing what I'm really doing there and why it's important for me to be there.
This way, Meghan makes what she does sound deeper and more profound than what other people do, even though she sometimes has a hard time substantiating what she does specifically.
Because I feel like we see the photos,
Yeah.
but what is the experience actually like?
Well, my trip to Rwanda last year was very different because it was just, it was primarily at Parliament. I did go to a refugee camp, though, which was my first experience of that. I don't just want to show up somewhere and wave my hand and feel like that's enough. I don't want to just like if I'm going to have my name attached to it or I'm going to do it, I really get very hands-on. Seeing some of the briefings for what they're going to say to Ban Ki-moon, our UN Secretary General, and understanding how that piece of it works, or understanding different pillars of an organization.
That's also called a guided tour, not work. And of course, nothing can compare to the depth of the new Netflix show. Which actually says more about Netflix than Meghan and Harry. Why is Netflix still a thing?
And finally, what does being in shape mean to you?
I think being in shape just means feeling confident, being as healthy as you can, and I guess just owning whatever it is that you have. I think being happy with your size and being kind to yourself, that's part of being in shape too.
Deceptive rhetoric that sounds like it comes straight from an empowering commercial. Meghan and the interviewer have just spent minutes talking about diets and ways to stay physically fit. They've even talked about the importance of the skin looking good. Here are some highlights.
Oh man, I mean the number one, and people always say it, but it's so true, is just hydrate all the time. Your skin will look better, everything will look really good. I have been using a lot of coconut oil though of late, on my skin, on my hair, like it's a deep conditioner, and then even to cook with. So I guess that's the second thing that I'm a big fan of. And then in terms of actual beauty products, I would say one of my favorite things in the world is just Touche Éclat concealer for the under eyes.
That's a good one.
It'll save you on the days where you didn't get quite enough sleep.
Which happens a lot in your industry.
It does.
Which happens a lot in your industry.
It does.
Yes, because actors and actresses are the only people who work hard. It's not like them regular people.
And she's so popular with, stars and regular people. So
Apparently, keeping this Paratext sympathetic is hard work. Meghan and the interviewer have talked about all this, yet viewers are supposed to believe that being in shape is actually just about feeling confident and being happy with your size. So as long as you feel confident, are happy, and stay as healthy as you can, another indirect, unspecific, and unreliable way of phrasing it.
As healthy as you can.
I guess you're in shape. Why is this video series even called Fit and Famous? Because apparently anything goes, as long as you don't feel lethargic and sluggish. Such great, honest advice.
I think
Meghan shakes her head no as she uses the adverb just to oversimplify what being in shape means, which makes sense because being in shape isn't just the commercialized platitudes Meghan regurgitates here. Just is a dependent adverb, which means it requires an attendant thought to make sense, typically the opposite thought, like when someone says, "We're just friends." Here it's rather easy to identify the attendant thought, losing weight by losing calories, so that you look good, which is the elephant in the room.
And being kind to yourself, that's part of being in shape too.
How can that ever be part of being in shape in a video series that's clearly focused on staying physically fit? So if I weigh 400 pounds, I'm staying in shape by being kind to myself. You can't argue with that logic.
Being as healthy as you can, and I guess just owning whatever it is that you have.
Meghan's pause and the hedge, I guess, expressing uncertainty rather than certainty, makes sense, considering that this has as little to do with the implications of the question as Meghan and everybody else know it does. How do you own what you have? What does intentionally vague false comfort like that even mean?
And being kind to yourself. That's part of being in shape too. Like to really just say, it's okay if I'm up a little bit this day or down, whatever it is, to just own where you are and love yourself.
I guess own is the new buzzword, and Meghan still doesn't tell us how you own where you are. Also, up or down, in what way, in relation to what. Meghan keeps using the adverb just, oversimplifying her message and pointing to opposite thoughts, which makes sense considering how little sense this makes. This type of unreliable advice is similar to this.
So what is the one message that you really want young women and women in general to just, really focus on as they navigate through life?
Yeah, I think there are a couple things, for me, and I remind myself and my friends of that as well, is that, we just need to be kinder to ourselves, truly. Can you imagine how much better off we would be to just say, can sometimes be so judgmental and unkind, and you are enough exactly as you are, I think is really important to remind ourselves of.
That is a very important message. Thank you so much, Meghan Markle.
Oh my gosh,
so good to see you.
This is the kind of self-love that might sound enticing at first, but a deeper look reveals that it can be used as a defense mechanism towards everything that goes against this self-love. Everything that tells a person to improve or change, even the slightest. Not all judgments are bad. People aren't automatically enough exactly as they are, and people shouldn't always be kind to themselves just because they feel they should. It depends on what kind means and in what context. Some people are lazy, other people are stubborn, and other people are navel-gazing, etc. The point is that everyone has something they need to work on. Making false assurances to people that they're perfect and unique just the way they are isn't love. It's indifference, and calculating indifference at that, since advertisers know that shallow slogans sell.
I mean, it's so interesting because we can look at you and think, what? Self-esteem issues? What are you talking about?
Come on!
So when did your seed get planted in terms of knowing that this was a very important thing, that you need to embrace your uniqueness?
Yes.
And, create your own box?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my, how sweet is that? You've been reading the TIG.
That's right. That you need to embrace your uniqueness.
Yes.
And, create your own box.
There's a reason why we don't see many work on yourself ads. If these are the slogans or lies you choose to live by, it's no wonder that you always feel that people are after you and that you can do no wrong.
I left my career, my life, I left everything because I love him, right? I mean, I wrote letters to his family when I got there saying, I am dedicated to this. I'm here for you. Use me as you'd like. There was no guidance as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unlike what you see in the movies, there's no class on how to speak, how to cross your legs.
Nobody prepares you.
But even down to like the national anthem. No one thought to say, oh, you're American, you're not gonna know that. That's me late at night Googling, what's the national, I've gotta learn this, I don't wanna embarrass them, I need to learn these 30 hymns for church.
If you liked the video, click the like button, that helps a lot. Until next time.
And it's an immense change. You're getting a new country out of it, a husband obviously, but also giving up your career.
Yes, that's nice. Yes. But I don't see it as giving anything up, I just see it as a change. I left my career, it's a new chapter, my life, right? And also keep in mind, I've been working on my show for 7 years. So we are very, very fortunate to be able to have that sort of longevity on a series, and for me, right? And also keep in mind,
in your engagement interview,
orchestrated reality show, yeah. Keep in mind,